Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ortiz versus Flores media conference call. Your host for today is Ray Flores. Ray, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, operator. Greatly appreciated. I hope all of you are doing safe and sound during these rather difficult times with COVID-19. But we are very excited as Premier Boxing Champions continues in this stellar run that we have had over the past several weeks. This upcoming Saturday, November 7th, Fox PBC Fight Night on Fox. And Fox Deportes comes your way from the Microsoft Theater here in Los Angeles. Today you will hear from fighters PBC Fight Night, which will deliver a night of heavyweight action headlined by top heavyweight contender Luis King Kong Ortiz, still looking to make his crest and become the first Cuban to capture the heavyweight championship of the world. But standing in his way, no relation to me whatsoever, Alexander the Great Flores. We begin the broadcast 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Also will feature rising unbeaten heavyweight contender Frank the Cuban Flash Sanchez. He'll match up against Brian Howard in the 10-round co-main event. Also, undefeated Michael Coffey will step in to take on the hard-hitting Joey Abel in an 8-round heavyweight duel. Don't forget, there's also PBC action tomorrow night, which I will be fortunate to be on the call with alongside Sean Porter and Jordan Plant. FS1 PBC Fight Night headlined by unbeaten welterweight Imantas Daniones, who is trying to graduate and become a contender, but he will match up against Justin DeLoach in the main event. That broadcast will begin 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time, also here from Los Angeles. Both events promoted by TGB Promotions. This man has been very busy over the past, just time and time again, putting on world-class events around the world. He is the president of TGB Promotions. He understands the sweet science better than anybody that I know. Here is Mr. Tom Brown.
Well, thank you, Ray. Whenever you announce a card, whether you can announce Spence Garcia, anyone, the casual fan will always say, hey, great, any heavyweights on the card? We've got heavyweights. Boxing fans love the power and drama of the heavyweight division, and this lineup, November 7th, will provide both. Ortiz has long established himself as an upper echelon heavyweight. He was 343-19 as an amateur. It's unbelievable, making him one of the greatest Cuban heavyweights of all time. And he's still one of the most feared men in the heavyweight division. And we know he's got a hungry and game opponent in front of him on Saturday night, in Alexander Flores. This fight was very easy to make. We made the call to Flores' team, and this thing was wrapped up, really very quickly. The kid wanted to fight. He's focused, hungry, and ready to go, and he knows what a win over Ortiz can do for him in his career. So I'm really looking forward to this lineup of all heavyweights, and I'll throw it back to Ray to get things going here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tom. Greatly appreciate it. You know what? When it comes to the heavyweight division, this heavyweight main event, the one thing I'll tell the media is expect the unexpected. That is what you get when it comes to when the heavyweights step inside the ring and collide against one another. Let's meet one half of the main event. His record, 18 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 16 wins coming by way of knockout. 30 years of age from Rowland Heights, California. His last 14 wins have come by knockout, including his most recent victory as he stopped Mario Heredia in November of 2019. Only blemishes coming against former heavyweight champions, including Charles Martin and Joseph Parker from Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the very hungry, determined, and focused Alexander Flores. Alexander?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you.
To give opening thoughts on how training camp has been and your mindset heading into your main event against Luis Ortiz.
Training camp has been going well. I usually stay in shape year round. I had a fight in June at the Toro. We were playing for November. We had an opponent. I forgot what it was, actually. I forgot the guy's name. So then after this opportunity presented itself, and took advantage of it. Training camp has been going well. Sparring was going good. And we were just ready for Saturday night.
Now we will turn it over to the operator for any questions for Alexander Flores. Operator?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you have any questions, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. 1 on your telephone keypad. All right. Looks like our first question will come from Keith Idek of BoxingScene.com. Ortiz. Your line is now open.
Hi, my question is for Alexander. Alexander, how much time overall did you have to prepare for the fight?
To switch sparring partners, about 6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay.
I wasn't out of shape. I was already in shape. All I had to do was kind of find some southpaw sparring, and that was it.
I know it's been challenging for some fighters during the pandemic to find the right sparring because of the restrictions and everything. How was it for you overall?
To be honest, in the beginning it was pretty tough, but we made some phone calls and we found some guys locally, so we got the sparring in. I was blessed to find a few southpaw sparring because it could be difficult to find some great quality of southpaw sparring, but we did find some.
Great. Can you just speak to the opportunity overall? Obviously, Luis Ortiz is an elite-level heavyweight who's only lost to Deontay Wilder. What would it do for your career? Of course, it would do a lot, but can you put into words how it would change your career and change your life if you pull off an upset on Saturday night?
It would change my career dramatically. For instance, when Andy fought Joshua, not that he's the champion, but just like that happened overnight, it can happen the same way to me. It's a great opportunity. There's no way I can turn it down. Especially during this pandemic, it's hard to find a fight or to get fights. But like I said, I'm usually in shape year long, and I was just ready for a phone call.
What do you think of Ortiz at this point? He hasn't fought in almost a year, I guess, which is the case for a lot of guys. But he's an older fighter now, and he has been knocked out twice now. So what do you think of him overall?
Ortiz, he's a great fighter. He's still one of the most feared men to fight. I don't know why, but a lot of fighters don't fight him at his level. But he's a champion. He's a great fighter. His only losses were just to Deontay Wilder.
You obviously had no hesitation to fight him, and a lot of guys have. He's been avoided to some degree by certain guys. What made it different for you?
Well, he fought Wilder twice, so whenever you fight at that caliber, you're going to give it your all in training camp. And he's already up there in age. I think he's 40, 42, 43, something like that. The older you get, the harder it is to recover during fight camps. We do most of the beating during the camps. It doesn't get easier. But maybe his age will show up Saturday night. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. What did you think when he fought Wilder? That, of course, was his last fight. What did you think of his? He was clearly winning the fight before he got knocked out. What did you think of his performance in that fight?
Oh, he was doing great. I thought he was, like you said, I thought he was winning. I think most people who were seeing the fight thought he was winning, and I think he probably got carried up when he hit the 10-second mark, and he got called a straight right.
Do you think, I believe he's about a 20-1 favorite or so going into the fight. Do you feel that he might be underestimating you to some degree based on your resumes?
He could. I really don't know that. You would have to ask him that. But, if he does, then he does. I really don't know if he's underestimating me. But, if he does, that's good. And maybe he wasn't training hard for the fight.
Great. Alexander, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Our next question will come from Carlos Toro of Fight Game Media. Carlos, your line is now open.
Hi, Alexander. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. Obviously we have this very loaded heavyweight division, especially at the top. And with you've already faced a couple of guys who have held world titles in the past, but do you still believe that you're maybe being overlooked in this division, considering the odds and who the opponent is for this Saturday?
Am I being overlooked? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But like I said, there was an opportunity, and I'm not going to turn opportunities down like this because one day we're not going to get these phone calls anymore. So I think I am being overlooked, but it's okay.
Well, do you believe that, you could be within reach of a world title shot with just a win, or do you think that you need to make an emphatic statement and knocking out Luis Ortiz, or do you still just believe a win is enough to get you into that position of potentially challenging for a world title?
Beating Ortiz would absolutely give me I'm sure I'd be in the top 5 or whatever top he's in, and I'm sure I would get like a world title fight after beating him.
You know, what version of Ortiz are you expecting? Do you still believe that Ortiz is still the same heavyweight who is, who says he's one of the most avoided in the sport? And do you believe that, you could be facing maybe a guy with a chip on his shoulder coming off the loss to Deontay Wilder?
It could be, but I mean, we wouldn't know that until Saturday night. But I'm good. I prepared for the best Ortiz. I'm expecting the best Ortiz. The same Ortiz I fought Wilder once and twice. That's the same Luis Ortiz I'm going to expect coming Saturday night.
Thanks, Alexander. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next question will come from Jeremy Harridges. However, before I open up Jeremy's line, I just want to remind everybody on the line, you can press *1 on your telephone keypad for questions. Again, that's *1 on your telephone keypad for questions. All right, Jeremy, your line is now open.
Hi, Alexander. I'm curious, how surprised were you to get this phone call, and maybe describe how it all went down?
To be honest, at first when I seen him, I actually know that he was supposed to fight Scott Alexander, and that was a great opportunity for Scott Alexander, but unfortunately he had tested positive for COVID, I believe, and then they gave me the call. So, I said yes, I was training for a fight, and like I said, man, it was a blessing. It's awesome, They're like, one day we're not going to get these opportunities anymore, so I don't take advantage of them now.
Looking at your last loss against Joseph Parker, what did you change from that performance? What did you learn from that performance? What have you done to improve since that defeat?
To stay off the ropes. He did catch me a couple times on the ropes. That's actually not the best place to be, in a fight. My fitness, my eating habits, and all that. I'm not the most chiseled guy, but I've, kind of changed my nutrition and all that, learning more about that stuff. But other than that, I actually picked up another trainer, too, David Martinez from La Habra. So I have two trainers, my coach Michael Love and David Martinez. So, they've both been great with my last two fights and this fight. So those are going to be some adjustments.
Every boxer has a strength or strengths. What would you say are the one or two attributes that give you the best chance of defeating Luis Ortiz?
Well, I'm the youngest fighter, I feel like I'm a little more hungry. He's been at the top level for quite a few years now. He fought the best of the best. I haven't been at that pinnacle yet where he has been. So maybe who knows? Maybe he's not as driven as he was before. I feel like I have more drive right now than maybe he has. So we'll see on Saturday night.
Thank you, Alexander, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Alexander, I have a question for you when it comes to, fighting at this level. What's your mindset like? And also, fighting within the confines of the bubble, which, this is a brand new world we're living in. But have you kind of thought about that in regards to what you have to do?
As in, fighting in a different atmosphere with, no audience?
Yeah, I'm saying, fighting with no fans and being within the confines of the bubble. I mean, you haven't fought in a year, so this is your first fight back since dealing with COVID-19 in this world that we're living in.
Yeah. To be honest, it might be a little different, because you won't probably have that same energy coming in, so we have to kind of not focus about that and focus about a fight. But yeah, hearing the people cheer on, everybody yelling, it might be a little different, but it's still a fight. But we'll see how the atmosphere is come Saturday night.
And also for you, do you I know the guys kind of mentioned this a little bit, but do you pay attention at all to the odds or anything like that? Or is it kind of like, what kind of territory you're endeavoring into?
To be honest, man, I don't pay attention to none of that. The people who, say, Alex, you just stepping stone, blah, blah, blah. Most people who have something to say, to me, I consider them as couch critics. They never probably step in the ring, turn the fighter, put on a pair of gloves, hit a bag, whatever the case is. I mean, they're just people who just criticize. You know, they don't know. They're the last people who have stepped in the ring to fight Luis Ortiz. So no, I don't pay attention to that. People will always have something to say regardless.
Then also, fighting on national TV, you know, this kind of stage, network television, big on Fox, has it, you know, doing more interviews? I'm sure you're doing that, but how has that been like to be able to handle, you know, more media obligations and things along those lines that you have to, you know, pay attention to, along with just being a fighter?
I don't know. It seems pretty normal to me for some reason. It doesn't seem like anything new. There's no pressure or anything. It's just things I have to do, you know, as a fighter, especially for a fight at this caliber.
So the experiences going against the likes of the Joseph Parkers and the Charles Martins of the world benefited you to get ready for this test on Saturday night against Luis Ortiz?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And just, you know, going ahead, and has there been anything more that you focused in on preparation-wise for, you know, a fighter of this caliber and stuff like that? I mean, you know, fighters say they learn a lot as they go up in class competition-wise, like things they could have done better in training camp, things that they like to tweak. Are you along that same mindset?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have to be on the P's and Q's come Saturday night because, you know, Ortiz is he's no slouch. You know, he's a great fighter, and I'm sure he's going to be on his P's and Q's come that night. You know, like I said before, we're expecting the best Luis Ortiz come Saturday night.
Do you think that? Go ahead.
I said we watch video and, you know, see what he does. You know, so we're kind of we have a few things that he likes to do quite often that we have in mind for.
Are you worried at all about, like, veteran-like tactics? I mean, you heard Tom Brown mention his extensive amateur background, the fact that he has been in the ring with, you know, Deontay Wilder twice, but are you cognizant of veteran-like tactics that he may employ during the course of the fight?
Am I worried about that?
Veteran-like tactics. Like, are you cognizant of it? You know, like certain things, you know, they call them, you know, the tricks of the trade in boxing. You know, little nuances, the subtleties that fighters use.
No, not really. I mean, I've spoke with former world champions as well. You know, so I mean, I know what they would use too during sparring and all that. So I mean, I feel like we get more experience sometimes from sparring than what we do from an actual fight. You know, because we're always sparring constantly before a fight.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I greatly appreciate Alexander. You know, thank you. You know, very much and stuff like that. And if we have the operator for more questions, by all means, you can go ahead and, you know, make sure to, you know, continue to ask your questions to Alexander Flores.
Well, thank you.
Sorry about that. As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, you can press star 1 on your telephone keypad for questions. Again, that's star 1 on your telephone keypad for questions. And at this time, there are no questions in queue.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and let Alexander Flores go. Alexander, if you have any parting comments, one thing I always like to ask prize fighters is your prediction for the fight. You can choose to give one, you can choose not to, but what is your prediction for your fight against Luis King Kong Ortiz?
We train to win. You know, so Saturday night we come to win, and that's what we're going to do. The goal is to win.
All right, Alexander, thank you so much. We look forward to Saturday night.
Awesome, thank you. See you guys then.
All right, Alexander Flores joining us. He will match up against Luis King Kong Ortiz. And unfortunately, Luis Ortiz had a last-minute obligation that came up. So if any of the media members have a request for Luis Ortiz, all you have to do is reach out to a member of the PR team, and they will do as much as they can to set you up with Luis King Kong Ortiz. So if you have any questions for Luis King Kong Ortiz, reach out to our outstanding PR team, and they will get you squared away to have a conversation with Luis Ortiz. He had a last-minute obligation that came up. But we appreciate all of you joining us here on the call. Thank you so much. Remain safe during this rather difficult time. And also, we have a triple header of the heavyweights. As I talked about, when it comes to the heavyweight division, expect the unexpected. And no doubt, entertainment will be provided by these 6 combatants on Fox PBC Fight Night this upcoming Saturday night on Fox and Fox Deportes at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time from the Microsoft Theater here in Los Angeles. High drama anticipated in Hollywood for a big night of Premier Boxing Champions action, brought to you by TGP Promotions. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody, and we will talk to you later on this week. Hey, don't forget BBC Fight Night on FS1 tomorrow night in Montes Staniones, Justin DeLoche, welterweight matchup, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific time. We'll see you tomorrow here in Los Angeles. Take care, everyone.